Hello, 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 and welcome or welcome back. I'm Shakia, and in this episode, we're going to talk about Gurleen and Shreyas from Love Without Borders, episode 5. Is Gurleen too independent? Episode 5. Okay, so at this point, Gurleen and Shreyas, they've already moved into their 2-bedroom apartment. In episode 5, we see that Gurleen is still working her job. She did not quit her job, but she will be working remotely from home, well, her new home in Dubai. We see that when Gurleen is working, it's time for bed. Shreyas is going to sleep. And so at some point down the line, this may cause some additional conflict with this particular couple because one person may be tired, the other person isn't. Maybe they feel like they're not spending enough time with one another and so forth. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see how long it continues, even though she has 70 days left on her visa, I think, at this point. So we know it's not something that's going to be forever unless she decides to stay. Aha. So fast forward in the episode, Shreyas and Gurleen, they head out for dinner and drinks with Shreyas's friends, the same friends who were at the pool party. Oh man, that ended in foolishness because Gurleen didn't want to listen to the host and she wanted to clean up, and it just was a lot of maybe perhaps missed signals or miscommunication. So they're heading out with Shreyas's friends, and I believe the woman is his cousin, and they go for dinner and drinks. And so when they get there, they're talking about Gurleen's work schedule, and one of the friends says, well, how is that going to work? Because he's going to be asleep and he's going to be snoring and you have to work and, you're going to be online. How is that going to happen? And
we've been up to during the week, just same shit.
Working, zoom in.
The timing's going to be completely flustered, right? He'll be snoring away asleep and you'll be working. How's that going to work?
We haven't slept in the same bed.
You guys are good girls and boys.
I'll teach you guys about the birds and the bees after this.
Yeah, please tell us.
Yeah.
Gurleen says, well, we have separate bedrooms, so far it hasn't been an issue. And then the conversation continues. Separate bedrooms? So at what point are you guys going to be physical? You guys haven't been physical yet? Do I have to explain the birds and the bees to you? If you came all the way over here looking for love, why haven't you been physical yet? These are the types of questions that Gurleen and Shreyas were receiving from his friends. And to me, it was just completely inappropriate. At one point, his friend says, I know you, bro. I know you. And when you go out with a woman, you sleep with her the first night. And
what's going wrong, man? I don't know what's wrong. I know you. You're a ladies guy. I know every girl you go out with, you will be in bed with in that same first night. So what's happened?
Why would you say this now? This is clearly not the time or the place to say this. Why would you say this in front of his potential new partner? For me, I don't want to hear that. I wouldn't want to hear that. I don't know if Gurleen wanted to hear that. And it's that's something you say when it's just you and your friend, not you, your friend, and his new mate. No, right? So what do you think? Do you think it was okay for him to say that? Or do you think that it was also maybe a little bit too much too soon? He doesn't know Gurleen like that. You know what I mean? So anyway, I just thought this line of questioning was so inappropriate. And it was just too much. And at one point, Gurleen says, all right, pump the brakes, slow down. You all are coming in hot and heavy, and this is a lie. And Shreyas's friend asked him, or I think it's his cousin, who says, are you sexually attracted to Gurleen? And he's like, okay, this is a lot of pressure on me right now with these questions. And so you could tell both Shreyas and Gurleen were a bit uncomfortable. They at first seemed open to having conversation with his friends about where they stood, but as the line of questioning continued, it felt very uncomfortable and it seemed inappropriate on the part of his friends. And so now Gurleen is going back and forth with his friend, his male friend. And at some point, Shreyas, he jumps in the conversation and he tries to take up for Gurleen.
Even though you guys are my friends, I gotta take a back.
Are you being responsible for her?
I don't know. I'm trying.
Why are you getting pissed off for?
I can handle myself.
I didn't see anything wrong with that. he has her back and he's telling the friend, hey, what are you saying? Hold on, back up. This is unnecessary. This is uncalled for. Fast forward. Gurleen and Shreyas are back at their apartment. Gurleen says, I didn't like you jumping in to defend me. I can take care of myself.
And then like you came, you saw that we were like arguing, or you got upset when it was just like unnecessary.
If you're here by yourself, you don't know one. So I want to be on your side and supporting you, right?
But you weren't supporting me by butting in the way that you did. Do you know that?
What exactly were you doing?
The conversation him and I were having, you were trying to get into it.
I see you guys arguing, so I'm like,
Then trust that like I can handle it. To me, it felt like you were talking down to me as if I couldn't handle it. It was hurtful.
And he's like, what are you talking about? He said, when I noticed that there was something that was said, I noticed that you two were arguing. I wanted to have your back, and I wanted you to know that I have your back. For me, I would think that's awesome. He's saying, wait a minute, you're gonna respect my partner, my potential partner, and he's standing up to his friends who he's known his friends for however many years. He's standing up to them and he's saying, wait a minute, this is too much, back up. I thought that was fine, but Gurleen was like, no.
I was actually trying to take him back because I know these guys would really be in and ask too many conversation. You know,
If you're defining that as taking my back, that's not taking my back. I'm just telling you that right now.
I don't need anyone to come and save me. No one is going to save me. Which, okay, that's fine, because we get to save ourselves. I know, that's awesome. And yet, it's okay to allow somebody to come and step in and help us out a little bit, or defend us, or have our back. It doesn't mean that you can't save yourself. It doesn't mean that you can't take care of yourself. And so you can tell Shreyas was really confused by this conversation. He was upset by this conversation. And I think he was a little hurt by this conversation with Gurleen, because it was confusing. He's saying, like, I want, it seems as if he really does want to build something with her. And I think it's going to be very difficult to do, because Gurleen is not just independent, she's hyper independent. Like, she's way above independent. And perhaps because she's had to be for so long, she's mentioned a little bit about her upbringing and her struggles with following certain rules, or having to be like the good girl within her family. And perhaps that comes up for her from time to time in relationships. I would imagine it does, based off of her behavior. And so she told us early on, I believe in episode 1 or 2, that she moved out of her home when she was pretty young, and she's just been on her own ever since, taking care of herself. So she's been independent because she's had to be. And I understand that. However, I believe that this hyper independence is going to hinder her from having the type of romantic relationship she wants to have. It could also get in the way of her having close relationships with friends too. I know in an earlier episode we saw her talking with one of her friends, and so that's great. And yet it can get in the way of having close relationships if you feel like, I can't trust somebody enough to call on them when I need help, or to ask them for help, to have them pitch in. That can cause some conflict, and it can especially cause conflict within a romantic partnership. And so I'm wondering if Gurleen will be able to let her guard down a little bit, but also if she will be able to allow Shreyas in a little bit more and start to treat him eventually down the line as a partner. Somebody who can have her back, somebody who can also take care of her at times. And that doesn't mean that she can't take care of herself. I think when we talk about, can we just talk for a second? A lot of times when we have women who are independent, there's this notion that if somebody else does something for me, it implies that I can't do for myself. And that's not the case. You can be independent and allow somebody else to step in and to help you. That takes a load off of your shoulders. It removes some of the weight, it removes some of the pressure. And I understand some of the struggles, right? Because I'm not some docile person who needs to be taken care of every second of the day and can't do anything for themselves. That's not who I am. But also, if you allow somebody to step in and help you out, it doesn't mean that that's who you are either. You get what I'm saying? Like, I can have a career and I can do things for myself, and I can also allow myself to be open to receive love and help and companionship from my partner. And I'm hoping Gurleen will acknowledge that and be open to that. Like, I'm hoping she is open to receive help and companionship and love and partnership from Shreyas or whoever her future partner is. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about Gurleen? Did you catch that episode? What are your thoughts about Gurleen when she said to Shreyas, I didn't need you to step in and take care of me. I don't need you to defend me. Is it a bit too much? And do you think she'll be able to come around and allow him to be a partner to her? If she doesn't, I don't see how this is going to go any further. I really don't see it. And it's like, choose your battles. Pick your battles. You're gonna have an issue with this man because he wanted to defend you? I would have an issue if he didn't. And just because he is stepping in to defend her, it doesn't mean that she can't defend herself. It doesn't mean that she can't take care of herself. Both of those things can be true. And I really do hope Gurleen sees that and she acknowledges that and she works on allowing Shreyas to be a partner to her. So as I said before, let me know in the comments, what do you think about Shreyas and Gurleen? Do you think she is too independent? Do you think she'll be able to come around and be open to receive true partnership? Because it does, and maybe I'm wrong here, so let me know in the comments. Just please keep it respectful. But it does seem like Shreyas he is open to getting to know her and build something with her. And I think Gurleen wants that too. Obviously, she's on this show. I just think it's really hard for her. And so I know as the viewer, it can come off as very annoying. Like, oh God, she's so annoying. Are you freaking kidding me? But I do see somebody who wants that commitment and that type of relationship. I just also see somebody who's struggling with how to get there. And that's probably because of some of the, perhaps issues that she's had in her past. I don't want to say trauma because I don't know if she's labeled it as trauma and I don't know her. I'm not, treating her. So I want to be mindful on the words I choose. But I do see somebody who is struggling with some of the things from their past. And it's probably coming up into their present relationship and this present dynamic. So again, let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate you so very much. I want you to go out and have a courageous day. Come back for the next one. But until then, bye for now.